Hello, my name is Christina Fridley Whitworth, and welcome to my capstone project presentation for MDS 495. The project that I'm choosing for my MDS capstone project was to write a children's book. I call my project Baking Up a Book. How might I do this since I've never written a children's book before? This was the question I set out to solve when I began my project. Writing a children's book was a project I'd wanted to tackle for the past few years and have just been waiting for the right time and motivation to begin. And this capstone class was the perfect opportunity to make this dream become a reality. I think a lot of children are difficult when it comes to food. I believe that this is something that most parents deal with daily. And there are books for picky eaters, but this book is different. It's not about eating healthy. It's about how baking and how various ingredients can come together to make something delicious. A lot of kids don't realize that different ingredients that are used in baking, if they see you adding things together, they make up their mind that they're not going to like it and they're not going to try it. But if you give them a finished product like a cookie, then they're more than happy to try it. The problem is a lot of families do not cook or bake together, and that's the main reason I feel this book is so important. I hope it will inspire more families to spend time in the kitchen, as well as inspire kids to try new foods and ingredients. The children's book I plan to write is called I Don't Like Butter. I believe this project to be necessary because it'll be fun and entertaining story for parents to enjoy with their children. Reading to kids should be entertaining and something that they look forward to. I believe that I can create a story aimed at kids between the ages of 4 and 7 that will engage readers in the wonderful world of baking and help children to see how various ingredients, even some they might not like or have not tried, can come together to make something magical and delicious. The biggest benefit of this project is that it'll help me to accomplish a goal that I've had for many years, which is to write a children's book based on a comical true life experience that I had with one of my own children. One problem that this book will help solve is that it will be an additional tool for parents to use when it comes to children not willing to try new foods. 6 years ago, I was in the process of making chocolate chip cookies, and my 4-year-old son watched as I gathered all the ingredients. Some of the ingredients weren't to his liking, and at that point he decided he wasn't going to try it. Whatever I was making, he would not be eating. Once the cookies were done baking and they came out of the oven, this quickly changed, and in his mind, he realized that what he thought he wouldn't like ended up becoming something he wanted to eat and was a delicious treat. Children will learn in a fun way by my book that it can be beneficial to be open-minded when it comes to ingredients, baking, and trying new foods. I love children and especially enjoy sharing fun books or stories with them. I'm a mother and aunt. I volunteer at the PTA. I work part-time as an elementary substitute teacher. My life and my community are full of children. So having this true life story will be fun to share with them and would not only be entertaining, but it would be an ideal way to teach them an important lesson. I think this book will be one that my community will enjoy as I share with them. For this project, I am the primary stakeholder. I want to accomplish the dream of writing a children's book. And I also feel that the children will miss out on a great story if I don't take this opportunity to share it. Because my story is based on a personal experience, one thing I worry about is whether or not the book will be well received. I found a great free template on Facebook to help me get started, and the first thing the template does is ask these 3 questions. First, is your story idea a good one? Second, do you understand the basic structure of a children's book? 3, are you able to outline your story idea before you start writing? After much reflection, the answers to these questions were all yes, and I was ready to begin my project. When beginning my story, I needed to first determine the ages of the children that would benefit most from it. After researching the best type of book for my story, I decided that a picture book would be ideal since the book is for children. Picture books are written for children between the ages of 4 and 7, which is the age range that I'm targeting. Having lots of pictures will make the story more interesting and appealing to the target audience. The next thing I needed to understand was the elements to make a good children's book. A website called The Self-Publishing School has a very helpful article called How to Write a Children's Book with 11 Easy Steps for Success. And I found this article to be a great reference for me during my project. I'd already had the great idea and the plot for my story, but bringing it to creation took a lot of hard work. In the book Creating Great Choices, a Leader's Guide to Integrative Thinking, it says, creativity isn't a gift and it isn't a solitary act. It's hard work and it's a collaborative process. And it is something each one of us can cultivate, end quote. Writing this book was not one solitary act or something I did in one sitting, but it took brainstorming, outlining, writing, revisions, and sharing my story with others to get feedback to make it a successful project. For my capstone project, I finished writing and editing my book. Illustration and publication will be post-graduation, and I plan on publishing my book. I found great information on where to start publishing my book on the Writer's Digest workshop. I had a couple different ways I could go about this. The first option or model was to write the book and share my story in book form. Other options being to share my book over social media, a blog, or YouTube. How would I share my story on YouTube? I would do this by starting a personal YouTube channel and recording short video clips. In the first video, I would introduce myself, and in the second and third videos, I would share what I was trying to accomplish and give a little teaser about my story. Next, I would share my story and ask for feedback in the comments, which would lead to another video to address any feedback or questions I might have received regarding my story. A blog would have allowed me to share the behind-the-scenes process of writing, and it would be an interesting way to receive feedback and build a larger audience. I have never written a blog before, so this option would have required additional research to learn how to blog successfully. It would have taken additional effort to edit my blog posts and make sure they were very interesting and enjoyable for people to read. The benefits of all three of these options would be allowing me to share my story, and they'd give me a platform to tell my story that I've dreamed of telling for years. I think the YouTube channel would have been the easiest because I'm a talker and it feels like a more natural way for me to document the process than a blog would. However, my goal was to write a book and not start a blog or YouTube channel. So after much consideration and research, I decided to apply the double down method from the book of Creating Greater Choices, A Leader's Guide to Integrative Thinking. The model I truly loved was writing the actual story and preparing it to become a book post-graduation. But the missing element was a way to solicit feedback. So I decided to record myself telling the story on YouTube and share it with some family and friends. Adding the recording of the story on YouTube was how I used integrative thinking, and it allowed me to share my story with a wider audience and receive the feedback that I needed. Writing and editing the story for my children's book has been satisfying. The effort and the time that I put into this project has not just been for a grade, but it's given me the opportunity to do something I've always wanted to do. Being able to tell a true story that teaches a life lesson has been rewarding and fun. I love how my story came together, and I couldn't be more proud of the work that I've done during this whole process. I look forward to taking the next steps and publishing my children's story after graduation. Thank you.